Hey, it's Rome again, and today we're doing a sound design tutorial where I'm going to show you how to make a Martin Garrix style dronal sound that you hear in a lot of his songs, and we're going to do an Avicii style ARP for background. The idea of today's tutorial is I'm showing you how to make these background elements that you don't really pay attention to, but are still in songs. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking like, well, it's just an ARP, Alex, that's really easy, I've made tons of ARPs. Well, that's probably true. It's really easy to make an ARP. It's really easy to grab one as a preset and just write it in your track, you got an ARP. However, what's not easy is making your sound design and sound selection unique to you, because this is where skilled artists just win. Skilled artists show their skill in sound design and sound selection. They're really, really good at making sounds sound like just them. So that's the point of this video. And the other reason I'm making this course is because my students in the Hitmaker Academy have been requesting more sound design content. So we're going to be doing a couple more sound design videos, and I'm going to be adding a bunch of sound design lectures from now to the end of this month. So anybody who's already a member in the Hitmaker Mixing Academy, you're also going to get access to all of these courses, because once you're a member to the Hitmaker Academy, no course that I add to my list of courses is going to be separate. So you will get access to every sound design course I do, and I'll be doing a bunch of beginner songwriting courses as well. Alright, so we have a chord progression here that I'm going to use as my bass, and I'm going to write over it. Those are the chords similar to Martin Garrix No Sleep. They're definitely not perfect because this happened, which sounded good, but I doubt that's the real note there. That's the only question I have on these chords, was if those were right. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is show you how I like to make ARPs. And the way I like to make ARPs is I like to get a preset pluck, or I like to make a pluck from scratch. But what I'm going for here is just a really basic pluck. You don't need anything too insane when you're making an ARP sound, because you want the ARP to be more special than the actual preset itself. So what I like to do when I'm making ARPs is find the comfortable notes that you could play throughout the entire track without changing anything. Those are really nice notes here. So I'm gonna put this an octave up from this. Ooh, right there. Alright, and then what I like to do is come down to the Midi effects here and add an arpeggiator. And when you add an arpeggiator, well, Logic's arpeggiator, or any arpeggiator for that matter, it'll start out giving you a basic rate and direction. That's the most annoying sound I've ever heard. Alright, so let's try this. And now we need a sound that's a bit more special. So I'm looking through the Future House Stars sample pack. So I could probably take this, add a filter to it, and it'll sound nice and warm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to search here for a more unique pattern. So the cool thing about this ARP is it has all these preset patterns that you could take, and these patterns are much more interesting than anything I would make, so I'm definitely going to work through these and find something cool. Avicii style ARP would be much more basic and calm. Like, this is a very Avicii ARP to me. It's not too complicated, and it's very versatile, would work in a wide range of songs. So now I'm going to add a little bit of filtering to it, and this is kind of like part one to adjusting the sound. So let me try that, but let me try this too. Bringing down a little bit of the enveloping here. Like that. And so let's do something really, really cool. So this is my ARP. Like that. But let's go ahead and add a really large reverb to it and see if we could get anything more interesting. When I'm adding reverb, there's a couple parameters you want to concentrate on. That's the decay, which is how long the reverb's happening for, and then the wet knob, which is how much reverb is actually you hear. So like this is like the reverb volume. So this is like a interesting thing. You just add a lot of reverb to it. And if you make that like semi-quiet in the background, it kind of starts sounding like a drone. Like that. But watch this. If you add some sort of LFO to this, now this is where I'm kind of venturing off into my own direction with this tutorial, but this is what you could do to add more differentiation to your sound design. More uniqueness, not differentiation. Well, yeah, maybe. Uniqueness is what I'm going for. So like if you take a tool like LFO tool, or Nicky Romero's Kickstart, or my favorite is Volume Shaper, you could do cool things like this, where you could just LFO the volume. Where you could do something like that, turn the wet all the way up, turn the dry down, and now you have this cool dronal sound. And then you echo everything after the Shaperbox, and then you get something like really insane. Now, right there, we started with an Avicii sound. Now we have something that you would hear in a Martin Garrix song. He always has these cool little drones in the background, and I think it's just so cool to try to get to those sounds, doing cool things like layering reverb with LFOs and then echoing everything. And then if you end up getting like too many notes clogged up in the mix, what you could do is you could remove one of the notes that's kind of off put and take the single tone. Just like that. And right there, you have a really cool idea of what you can do to get your own really cool sounds. Just from Serum, a basic ARP, basic reverb, an LFO tool, which you will have to invest in. I don't believe any DAW has a good LFO tool. FL Studio and Ableton might, but I don't really know. Kind of looks like the Shaperbox and LFO tool are the ways to go if you want some LFO tool, some type of LFO tool. And then some basic echoing, and you got a really cool sound. And so here's one last thing that I thought was pretty cool about this ARP is you can make it kind of like its own pad now. So we could start with a single note, like this. Sounds good with the pianos. And now I'm going to make it change notes, because I heard in Martin Garrix's No Sleep that the dronal sounds kind of change notes. They're kind of like layering the chords in a way. So now let's listen to it. Just like that, you got a crazy sick new pad sound made from a pluck. Who would have known that the sound actually sounds like this? Whoops. That's it. That's the sound that we started with, and through all of this processing, we got that crazy cool ARP sound. So there you go, guys. Hope you learned something in this video. Come hang out with me in the Hitmaker Academy. I hope to see you there. See you later, guys.